Girl, it took us 2 hours.
Yeah, we're just like chatting and hanging out and like just talking about our lives and whatnot. Anyway, so hey, we're gonna let a few people hop in the room because we are recording this podcast session live. But today,
Mhm.
Jasmine and I are gonna talk about why do girls hate girls? How do you feel about this topic while we're waiting?
So when I was younger or mid-teens, a lot of girls would say how they don't have a lot of friends that are girls, or you would hear it online a lot about how like, oh, I don't hang out with a lot of girls, and it's just because they're catty. And I'm like,
I've heard that.
why do you attract catty girls? Are you possibly sending out catty energy? Which
Mm,
sparked the conversation with Nija because she is all about how we are energy and we attract and manipulate what we put out. So, Nigel, how do you explain the energy that someone can put out and then also receive?
well, I definitely think you can be attracting negative girlfriends into your life just by having that belief or perception. Oh, all girls are catty, so I'm only finding catty people. Like that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
what's being shown back to you. But I mean, like if you genuinely want to make friends who are girls, like just start putting out the intention of what you do want, right? Like I want girlfriends who are emotionally intelligent. I want girlfriends who are confident. You know what I mean? And then like you put that out there and maybe you will attract girls like that is what I think.
I also feel like when I was younger, I didn't like hanging out with girls.
Why is that?
And it is not because it was like, oh, all girls are catty. It was because I was like a tomboy. I liked guy things. I liked video games. I liked wrestling. I liked football. You could not get a dress on me. Um,
Mm,
like I wanted to be one of the guys because that was what I grew up with. All of my cousins, all of my close cousins were all guys. I didn't really have a lot of female cousins around me. And when I did, like the ones that were there, it
mm,
was, they didn't think fart jokes were funny. They didn't think burping was funny. They didn't want to go get dirty in the dirt with the guys and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to just sit here and look pretty. Like, I want to go out. I want to play volleyball in the sand. Like, this is boring. So I really thought the things that girls did,
mm,
which would be considered feminine
mm.
things, were boring. So I didn't like hanging out with girls because I had the personality of a guy. So my jokes were nasty. Like art jokes were my thing. They still are. And to this day, a lot of girls don't find it funny.
I mean, I'm the girl who doesn't find it funny,
I know.
but
I'm looking at
it
you.
was a little different. Yeah, I mean, so I like that we can see both perspectives. Because like for me, I really love the girly girl stuff. I love getting dressed. I love being cute. Me and my girlfriends, I like us to like get together and like make songs together and like sing together, and like do our make whatever, all the girly things. I think I wanted more girlfriends growing up, but for whatever reason, I felt like I don't know why. Like, I just felt like sometimes it was hard for me to make girlfriends, or like sometimes I find like even now it's hard for me to keep girlfriends. And I'm not like trying to make that an affirmation and put that out there, but I have noticed like relationships that girls have with girls, you really do have to cultivate and nurture these relationships. It's not like the relationships you have with like your male counterparts where I don't know. I feel like relationship with girls are more high maintenance. Like, don't you find
Mhm.
yourself having to nurture your girl friendships more than you nurture your male friendships, right? So
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely think girl friendships require more work and more effort, which is not a bad thing, but there is that emotional component when it comes to females. And
And
we
I
have
guess some girls don't want to put that effort in.
yeah, and it's also like knowing how your friend responds to confrontation, knowing how your friend reacts to how you say things, and your friend knowing how because even you and I, we had like a period where there was like a miscommunication where I thought because I didn't, or you thought because I didn't talk to you or reach out as frequently that I didn't like you. But on my end, it was just like I'm dealing with things in my life and I'll reach out when I'm done dealing with that. So there was a miscommunication, but it was resolved because we talked to each other and you told me what your needs are as a friend. And I'm like, okay, well, this is how I am, but I can, like, let's find a way to make this work. This is how you create longevity in relationships.
I don't like how women, because like you just said, I said what I needed in a relationship with a friend to make it work, and that could come off as clingy to some people. What I don't like is hearing women say that I don't want to be friends with that girl anymore because she's clingy. And I'm like, was
Mm,
she clingy or was she telling you her love language when it comes to
yeah.
relationships?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that. I do. And like there's the thing too about boundaries with friendships. Like you have to like say what is needed, but then like also like how do you get your friends to respect your boundaries? You know what I mean? Like when one person's like, no, I need more together time, and the other person's like, like let's schedule time when we can hang out that sit like, works for both of us. So what do you think about that? Like, how do you draw the line of like healthy boundaries with girlfriends? You know what I mean? Like just in general, because I feel like this is why girls don't get along with each other because they don't know how to communicate their needs to each other. One of
So
many problems that I think.
I am not one of those people that have very hard boundaries with friends. Like I can only go off of what I've heard other friends say, and I'm like, I'm not that person. So for
Mhm.
example, when I was in high school, I had this friend, a very close friend, who developed a closer relationship with someone else. In return, that new friendship that she made started to emulate her, started to
Mhm.
dress like her, started
Mhm.
to kind of talk like her, not like her voice and stuff, but maybe take on the ideas that she had and then make them hers as well. Um,
Mhm.
some people would see it as she didn't have her own identity. And my belief is that you become the person you hang out with. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's normal because I dress like my fiance now because we're just so in close proximity to get together all the time that I have kind of emulated his style. And a lot of girls would say, well, I don't want to be friends with her because she is copying me. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't see someone like that copying me. Copying is the biggest flattery, right? Like, you
Mhm.
like me so much
Well,
that
that goes
you
into like so this goes into something that I was saying about why do girls hate girls. I think there's like this unspoken competition.
Mhm.
I feel like women are like so in competition with each other, and we totally should not be. And I guess maybe that might now we can plug in the aspect of like, does it have to do with men? Like, is there, I don't think there is a lack of men in the world. So we're not fighting with each other over men. But like, I'll give you the example like when your partners found out cheating, right? And you want to go fight the girl when she didn't even know you were existed, right? Like, we're mad at each other. But like the problem is no, you just chose a shitty person, and you know what I mean? So I don't know. What do you think about that? Like
I guess if you're insecure with yourself, you would see the friend that's copying as competition. But if
Mhm,
you're really secure with yourself, you would see it as flattery. So the
mhm,
only thing I can think of is like now the person your friend is copying you, right? You get into a situation. Let's say you guys go to the bar, and you see your friend doing the things that you typically do,
mhm.
and getting attention from it. So maybe you see her as competition, like she's not really like that. And I'm like, I guess I
This
can
is
see.
this is weird to me though, because I don't get being in competition with your
Yeah.
friends. Like I don't get not supporting your friends. I don't get not being happy for your friends. Like I don't get how you can have a friend, something good happen to her and be like stank about it, but like I'm not that person. So I just don't understand how other people can I don't know, it's just
I
weird
don't
to
feel it
me.
that way at all.
But
That
I
I hear these
understand, like, if you have
stories.
low self-esteem or
I
something.
think it's both of them having low self-esteem. The girl who sees her friend turn into her and
Mhm,
hating it
mhm,
is an insecurity of like, oh, she's trying to be me. Like that's
mhm,
even insecure. To be jealous or mad about that, that's a form of insecurity. And then for someone else to self-identify as you is
mhm,
also a form of she doesn't have self-love. She doesn't know who she is yet. So she is kind of masking who
mhm.
they are
And
to
it's
you.
kinda weird, like, because if you are friends, you're probably friends because you have a lot of things and interests, like, a lot of interests in common, so it wouldn't be weird if you guys did start to dress identical or you know what I mean? Like, birds of a
I
feather
would be
flock
hyping you up. Like,
together.
yeah, girl.
Like, let's F it out together. But
Oh,
see, I
well,
think
we're in the same thing.
we can be that way though because we don't feel that insecurity within. I think like when girls fight other girls is because they feel insecure within themselves, or like if they feel like competitive with a girl or whatever, it's because it's, you don't know what you got. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how valuable or how precious you are. You don't know how to work what you've got. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Or that
Because
you
there's
don't feel
no
like you're
reason.
irreplaceable. I'm not replaceable. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. You can look like me, you can talk like me, you can self-identify as me, but that wouldn't make me insecure because I know I'm not replaceable.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if I see that makes you more confident that now you want to dress like me, now you want to take on my opinions, I would make sure, like, are you sure you feel this way? Is that really your opinion, or are you just reflecting me? Like, I question people. Like, I make you question
So
yourself.
let me ask you another question then. Do you have a problem making girlfriends? Do you have a
No,
problem keeping girlfriends?
not
Do you
anymore. So when I was younger, I didn't want to hang out with girls because I had such a hard tomboy personality that I don't want to go shopping with
But
you.
when you did start making girlfriends,
So
like, what did
now,
that look like?
as when I moved to Portsmouth to my new school, I didn't see it hard as making friends because I've come into myself as I know I'm a social butterfly and I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to you. And it sucks being rejected because girls can be mean, but it never
Mhm.
stopped me from playing the game because I don't know, I think I'm awesome. And a lot
Mhm.
of people don't want to hear a girl say that about herself.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear a girl say, oh, "Girl, I look good." Like when we came onto the live, I was like, "Girl, I
Mhm.
look good today."
Yeah,
You
you
know?
know, but it's a matter of self-esteem. I think a lot of we have to teach. I don't know, like, how do we teach
It is
self-esteem? Like, it's so valuable. It goes back to, like, dating and relationships too. Women will not get dogged out when they know their self-worth, when they have
Mhm.
self-esteem, when they know how to root for themselves and then also root for other girls. You know what I mean?
I think it starts with parents. I
You
think
think it's the
your
parent's
parents
responsibility?
need your parents need to hype you up. Like, "Girl, you look good today. Oh, you look so beautiful. Oh my god, I love your hair. You're so smart. You're gonna be an engineer when you grow up." Like, I do that all the time to my
Mhm.
stepkids. Like, I'm in love with who they are as people and their individuality, and I feel like it starts with the parents hyping your kids up. You
I
know, there's parents out there who say, "I don't tell my daughter she's beautiful because I compliment her brains." I feel
Mhm.
like that can screw a girl up too.
Yeah, and then, like, I would even add to that, yes, it's so important for that conditioning to be there when you're growing up, but let's say it wasn't and you're an adult now and you feel insecure because you didn't receive that love and validation
Mhm.
as a kid. I think it's so important to parent yourself. I love this, like, concept, but I'm learning about it now, but, like, as an adult, there is an inner child within you, and you still need parenting to keep yourself, accountable to your goals and to your dreams, and are you working hard enough? Are you staying disciplined? So, like, when you parent yourself, a part of that parenting is like instilling those words of affirmations, like, you are loved, you are beautiful, you are doing this, I'm so proud of you, like, you're killing it. So, like, it's like learning to coach yourself, having positive self-talk within yourself, parenting yourself, because
And I
otherwise
also
you'll
think
seek external validation and you'll wait for the next relationship for the guy to tell you what you need to be told, and it.
and it can't be negative positivity either. Like, I feel like there is a form of
What
negative
is negative positivity?
when you get on places like TikTok and you hear, let's say a man is talking trash about a girl, right? And then in the comments, the girls are kind of like the type of responses is the opposite of it's positive towards female, but it's putting down other people's opinions or how they feel about it. I could be explaining it wrong. Um, Women who love themselves so much that it can be actually really, really mean. It can come off mean towards other people or towards an opposite gender. I don't even know where I'm
Well,
going.
I think there is a difference between being conceited and loving yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can really tell when someone is projecting their insecurity when they just have to be like, "Oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, oh, I'm this, I'm that." You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with saying it. But,
Mhm.
like, if especially when you're by yourself, you should be saying this to yourself anyway. But I'm talking about, like, people who wait until they're around other people to be like, "Oh, just to get validation." I feel like that is something
Mhm.
completely different than, like, being confident and secure.
Yeah. I feel like that's the toxic positivity where it's coming
Mhm.
off from, ooh, okay. All right, here's my thought now that I think
Let's
about it.
hear it,
Sometimes
girl.
it's really hard to be on live and say what you mean. You could
Uh-huh.
definitely slip up. There's these girls on that I follow on Instagram, and I know I shouldn't, but they're beautiful. And they talk about how women are that bitch, right? They say it all the time, and they know that they're pretty. However, the type of quotes, you know how people post quotes and stuff on their Instagram story is "you bitches could never." That's not positive. Yes, it may be uplifting you because you know you're great, but now you're putting down other girls like, oh, you bitches do all these, you bitches talk about all of this and that, but your secret life you're doing this. I just don't feel
Oh, it's like a meme or like something that people just say like, oh,
it's a
like
retweet, you know? It's
I
like
get
this like,
get
quote,
you.
and they post it all the time. It's just like, oh, I'm beautiful. I could never do this like you other bitches. Like
Mm.
that is the toxic positivity towards yourself. Like,
I
you
just
have to
think,
give
yeah,
yourself love.
there's just a lot of, so like how we're always talking about toxic masculinity, there is also like toxic femininity as well. And I feel like that is using manipulative words and things like that to like, you know what I mean? To make people feel bad about themselves or
You can love yourself, but you don't have to put other women down for it.
that's the thing about women that we really, really, really have to get through to ourselves. You can love yourself and blah, 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 blah. But if you feel the need to talk shit or talk down about another woman, that says more about you and how you feel about yourself than that person.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
So, what are some red flags that women should avoid before making a girl their friend? Because there's red flags for if you're putting energy, I'm very big on the energy. Like, if you're attracting a lot of catty girls in your life, I feel like you have some inner work that you need to do.
You might
Because,
be attracted to the drama and you
yeah.
don't want to admit that you're attracted to the drama.
Mhm. And then you make friends and then you blame all girls for it. But what are let's just say you aren't, because a lot of girls say, "No, I'm positive and I'm this and that." But when I hear them talk and I'm like, I'm seeing a lot of red flags in the way that you speak
Mhm.
that
I
maybe
mean,
you're
I would
wrong.
So I would even pose the question like, how do you look for friends who are more in alignment with, you know, yourself and your values? And I'm all for that. I think women need to come together. We need to spend more time with each other, for sure, for sure. So I would say I would look for things that I naturally am attracted to doing. Like for me, I'm like into spirituality. I love a good like yoga circle or whatever, drum circle. I like entrepreneurship. I like, you know, like meeting with content creators and stuff like that. So I'm taking myself to these places and I'm hoping that when I go there, if I'm setting the intention, I'm going to meet, you know, people who are in alignment with that intention. So
Exactly.
it really does start with putting yourself out there in those places where you can be found by girlfriends. If you want to make some girlfriends, you can't be afraid to put yourself out in those areas where you might find them. And
I
then when
definitely
you attract them, be a good person, you know, like be a good friend.
exactly be the friend that you want others to be. I
Mhm.
would say, although I've met some good friends in the club and the bar,
Oh my.
it might not be the best place because now
You are only going to meet up at the bar or at the club.
yeah, because it's like, what is it outside of that though? Because I just don't believe in like drinking as a form of
Right. Then
you
that goes back
know,
to doing things that you're naturally in alignment with and finding people from that place. Like for you, Jasmine, once you invited me to like it was like an entrepreneurship like meetup or like
I
a business meetup
did.
or something, right? And so you're just like in a room with other people who are business owners trying to grow and build their business. That's a perfect place to meet friends like that if that is what you're into. So, you know, like or like going on I have a friend who plays volleyball and they're like always in the meetup group and they're making friends from doing that because that's what they naturally like to do. Now you can do those things together. So
Aren't you on some type of app or website? Is it called Meetup where
it
you go
is
to
meetup, yeah,
places?
where you can like so yeah, so if you have an interest or something, like if you like photography and you want to do a photography meetup group, set it up and let people who are into that thing come and meet you and you guys can go do some things together. I
Yeah.
feel like collaboration is so key right now. Like people have
Mhm.
to come together using their gifts and their talents and like make awesome things happen.
There are some things that I am just personally against that maybe someone would disagree with, but I just don't think that you should be forming relationships around places where you drink or places where you
Mhm.
smoke or places
Mhm.
where typically people go to meet up to meet someone to eventually have sex with them, like the club.
Ooh.
Those are the 3 areas you should avoid when
Make like strong
trying
relationships.
to make a strong relationship, because you need something in an area that you're going to be doing during the daylight. Photography,
Mm.
um, going on dog walks, like meeting people who have dogs who meet up with dogs. I think that's super cool because
Or
at your
even
core basis, morning lasts way longer than nighttime. You
mm.
don't want just that, oh, that's just the friend that I party with. I don't like those relationships.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. And it just kind of limits the things that you're going to be doing together if you only hang up. I
Like
mean, like
the
I'm just
basic
like, what are you gonna
foundation.
do at nighttime? It's weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anything that's going to alter my state of being to talk to you. Like, I want deep conversations that
Right.
last. I think another red flag would be this person is always having problems. Always
Mm.
having problems. Now, I know people go through things, but how
Mm.
can you be going through so many things with so many different people in your life?
Oh, you mean like they're always saying they're having issues with different friends in their life?
Mhm. Different friends, family
Ooh.
members, teachers, and I'm like,
Mm. Then it starts to be like, are you the problem? Is
mhm.
that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you
Mm.
trust girls who don't have other friends that are girls?
I don't think it's necessarily about trusting them because like they just might not put themselves out there very much. So I don't know if I say that, but I don't know any of my girlfriends who don't have other friends. So I don't know.
I know,
So
because
you're
we meet
saying like
ourselves in circles.
would you so you're saying do you trust people who don't have other friends besides you?
It piques my suspicion.
Mm.
If a girl, if I just meet a girl and she says, I don't have many other girlfriends because they're all catty.
Mm.
I'm gonna keep my eye on you. I'm not
Mm.
gonna judge you, but I'm gonna keep my eye on you to see, like, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into this relationship.
Why are they all so catty?
Like, what happened? I need
Mm.
to know what happened. And usually I can find where they went wrong.
Mm.
People tell on themselves and stuff. It's not a red flag for me, but it's definitely like I'm gonna watch you.
Mm.
Definitely how you feel around them too. Like, what does your stomach say?
Yeah. All I'm gonna say for this is it really is helpful to value your friendships and relationships where you are growing together, building together, working on some kind of craft or something together. Because I feel like then it's not just wasting idle time. You guys are actually improving each other, improving yourselves. You're good for each other. So, like find friends that you are like improving with. I think that's really important.
You also said before we started the live that you have a problem with keeping friends, not so much making them, but keeping them. Is that what you said?
I have a problem with what do I have a problem with? I have a problem with communication in friendships. I feel like I'm the type of person where like if I have a problem, if something feels like weird or awkward, I will say it, because I value the relationship. I want to keep the relationship. But I notice like there are some people who when they get disappointed in relationship or something, they'll just be like, okay, well that's it. And they'll just like cut you off without like explaining why
Mhm.
they feel how they feel. So I think my problem in like relationships are like girlfriend relationships, like having friends and stuff, is I want us to learn how to communicate with each other better for the longevity of the relationship. But I feel like some girls like to just like cut people off. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't feel like you're a good friend if you just go around cutting everybody off. Like, there's a lot of TikTok videos about like if someone does it, if they do it the first time, you need to cut them off immediately because they're going to do it again.
Mhm.
Why don't you say something to them?
And I also think it's a difference between like if you're romantically trying to date someone and they don't meet your expectations, yeah, okay, cut them off. But if you're seeing them as a friend, like girlfriends, you know what I mean? I don't understand how you will ever keep friends.
I think both relationships with men, and or if you're in a relationship with a woman, and relationship as a friend, because it's like you are an individual person coming into a relationship, friendship, or an intimate
Mhm.
partner. They don't know you. They don't know how you operate in certain circumstances, and that we do need to, and we should teach people how we operate in our lives and how we would
Yeah.
like you to fall into that. And I feel like if you never are willing to teach, and then if they fuck up,
Mhm.
then maybe
So
cut them off. But I
yeah.
feel like that's communication. You can't just expect that because, like you said, everybody's different. One person might like coffee dates, the other person might like an expensive steak date. And if you
Mhm.
go out with someone and he's like, I'm not paying for this, I
Mhm.
think you should say, well, I do expect this type of guy in my life, friend in my life. And moving forward, I would like to see that. And if it still progresses to something that you don't like, then like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's working out.
That's true, and that's fair, I feel like, like, just let your intentions be known.
Exactly.
Let your desires be known, let your needs and expectations be known. I feel like that's
Yeah,
all you need in life. That's all we need is just, like, communication.
exactly. Okay, so do you have a hard time making friends that are
Um,
girls?
I don't think I have a hard time making girlfriends because I feel like when I meet like people for the first time, I'm usually like really happy and out there and
Right.
excited. And I feel like some people like that, and then some people are like, oh, okay, you're a little excited, okay. But I think
I
it's
love
not
it.
difficult for me to like make friends and like be out there. I don't think so. I think what can be difficult is maintaining friendships. Like because some people it just depends on what kind of friend you are, like, some friends, you can talk to them once a month and it's like no time has passed, and then, like, some friends you kinda need to, like, check in more regularly.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. What do you think about that?
First off, if someone said I was too excited when I met them, then I'm like, oh, in my mind, I'm like, we're not gonna
But
work
you
out.
never got that? I used to get that all the time, like, "Oh my
Oh
god, like,
yes.
why are you so like, calm down, girl, like, why is your" or, like, girls will look at you funny because you don't mind, like, just being yourself, and they're
Oh
like,
my gosh,
"You're so
yes.
you're getting too much attention, like, why don't you calm down?" It's like, "This is just me."
That reminds me of a story.
Tell the
Okay.
story, girl.
So I have a friend who is insecure, and we say it all the time. She knows, she says it, I say it, and it's more of a loving, like, you need to love yourself a little bit more. I notice, these things about you. And we have a conversation about it.
Mhm.
She said, and it was based off her insecurity, that I was so in the spotlight, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That it just came off as she was in competition with me because she was always trying to keep up with me. And
Oh.
she felt that I thought I was better than others. And I had told her, because I'm loud, I'm excitable, I'm
Mhm.
ditzy, I have a lot of energy, right? And people pay attention to that. And then
Mhm.
also, I feel like I look good because not only do I look good or try to look good, I'm confident. So
Mhm.
that's just loud. It's a silent loud.
Yeah.
She felt in competition with me. And I had said to her, I don't want to dim my light to make you brighter. I
Mhm.
don't think that's how this relationship or any relationship should go. I
Yes.
want you to find your light. I shouldn't have to dim mine for you.
Mhm.
And that could come off as harsh.
I
But
mean, no, I don't think she should have even that seemed like a within yourself kind of problem. Like if you need to I mean, like there's a difference between like you're hanging out with someone, there's just like loud and obnoxious and like okay, talk calm it down. But it's not, like if you're like literally just genuinely being yourself, it does like kind of project insecurity if you have to ask other people to adjust how they're acting to make you feel comfortable.
yeah.
You
And she
know?
wasn't asking me to, but she was noticing that she was trying to keep up and it
Mhm.
made her resent me
But
because
see, that's the thing again about like girls needing to learn how to be excited for their friends. I don't understand not being like why are you friends if you don't want to be excited for them?
so how she explained that because she wasn't trying to dim my light. She was trying to explain her insecurity in that she wanted to work through it, but she wanted to talk to me about it instead of just cutting me off. Because a lot of people these days are saying that if you have people who make you feel a certain way, whether it was meant to or not, you should cut them off because it's going to make you more insecure. Even though
Mhm,
you need to work on yourself, a lot of people are like cut them off, cut them off, cut them off.
mhm,
Or that I should cut them off because they're trying to be in competition with me and that stems from jealousy and you shouldn't have that type of friend. But
mhm,
I believe in communication and the
mhm,
fact that she could come to me and say it and then want to sit down with me and say, Jazz, how can I be better? I thought that was beautiful. Now whether, yes, she's insecure and yes, she had a lot of things to work on, but I respect that she noticed it and wanted to talk to me about it instead of silently becoming either resentful or just cutting me off completely, because I loved her. I love her as a person. So we just kind of thought about like, yeah, it does stem from insecurity. I think you should not manifest, but affirmations. I think you should do more affirmations with yourself, and let's go from there.
Yeah. That's good.
It was a
Yeah.
good conversation, but not a lot of people would agree with it
Mm.
because that takes constant work for
Mhm.
herself to do
I
it.
mean, like, it's nice that she admitted it, but like, you don't even have to admit it. You can just notice this
Oh
within
yeah,
yourself and be like, I need to do some self work. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I said it to her. She said it um, to herself. I burped, but I thought it was a beautiful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've actually made amends to say, well, how can we fix our relationship? And I was like, maybe we just need to make more time for each other. And then we did. And the next time we talked about, she was like, I never did this, or how do you do this, or how can you be so confident? We have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know, I think that was a great eye opener to
Yeah,
not just cut someone off.
for sure. So, like, what are some constructive ways that like women can support other women?
It starts with loving yourself, because
Mhm.
you don't want to fake it because it comes off as fake.
Mhm. So
um
all women need to focus on self-love and loving themselves so that they can love other females more.
and it's not just down to saying that you love yourself and looking in the mirror and saying you're beautiful.
Mhm.
You should read books, articles,
Self-improvement.
self-improvement,
Mhm.
YouTube podcasts, all of that. It's constant work every single day to rewire your brain. It is not just I need to love myself and you never put the work in. People don't know what putting the work looks like.
That's
It's
true.
every day or at least once a week listening to something that's uplifting so that
Mhm.
you can change your brain. I
For
think it starts
sure.
there.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you should have a list of ways that you're always trying to improve yourself and improve your life and always take into account what can be better or should be better. Because you're right, it is easier to have successful relationships when you feel successful within yourself. So if like you having friends that are successful makes you feel uncomfortable, like you probably need to take a step back, do what it takes for to make yourself feel successful, so when you're in rooms with other successful people it doesn't make you feel bad but you feel inspired and uplifted.
Yeah. Get a mentor.
That too.
They don't have to be like this overly successful person. Typically, people who are confident are. But,
Mhm.
find someone, and just like my friend did, ask questions of like, how do you be confident? Like, what do
Mhm.
you do
That's
to
true. Instead of being jealous of people, why don't you ask people how they do what they do? And hopefully, if they have a good spirit, which I think anybody, if you're a bad bitch, if you're beautiful, you need to have a freaking good spirit because you will make yourself real ugly if you are not nice to people, if you're not kind, if you're not loving. But yeah, just ask people how they do what they do.
this person put their comment up here? The word female is so cringe. We are women. We should call ourselves as well as other women that we are women. I really don't like the word female either.
It's like when I think it's all, I mean, I don't have a problem with the word female. I think what we don't like is the context of how, like,
Mm.
in like toxic masculinity podcasts, how they
Mhm.
address women as females this and females that. So I guess that can be a little bit like derogative, but like,
Yeah.
I
Because they
don't
don't call themselves males.
exactly. It's
They say
kind of like when
men.
they call girls bitches for existing. I don't know, right? But they don't ever call men bitches, but they only call well they call men bitches when they're like talking about their feelings. But yeah, I don't have a problem with female, but I get we don't want to hear people talking about women in a, you know what I mean? Like
It's don't the context of it. Don't be derogatory
context
of
for
it.
sure.
I say, well, Nija, you're a female.
Mhm.
That has a way different feeling
Exactly.
and sound than like all these females out here ain't got no business. You
And we
know?
have to be careful with this too because we're coming up in a period where people are so like gender sensitive, right? Like it's like like if you wanted to, you don't identify with who you are and you're just calling everybody female, 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 female. And it's, so you know what I mean? It's like I saw a TikTok and there it was like a parent addressing the kid and they were like, okay, non-binary child, how are you today? And like the kid is like, I'm offended and I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? It just, so it's like,
That would offend me, non-binary
well,
child.
that's what they want it to be. Like no genders. Like when your baby is born, they call them babies because they're like gender neutral, and the kid gets to choose how they feel and stuff like that. Like I feel like that is making the world more confusing.
That is such an adult concept put onto children, which I think is a whole different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Whole different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a boy when I was younger, but I wasn't. You're not gonna call me but I don't want to be called a boy. I
Because
didn't
if
want.
you were given the option at that age, you really might think that you could be a boy if you were given the option. Could you? Or what do you think? Because you're saying like don't project these things on
Adult
children.
topics onto kids. You know, if I want to go play football, let me just go play football. I don't
You
need
don't say, "Oh,
guy. Like,
might
why
be a
are you
boy."
asking a 5-year-old that? Like,
Yeah.
just let them go fully through the life. And then when they get older, they can understand these concepts. Then they can talk about it. And then you be open about it. But that's way, way, way.
Yeah. Topic for another discussion. But yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that all of this start like men cannot disrespect women when women stop disrespecting women. When women stop disrespecting women, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Like they can say what they, but y'all just look foolish because we no longer. So it starts with us. Women have to stop tearing down women, or else men will think it's acceptable to tear down women. Women have to hold themselves to a higher standard so that, you know what I mean? Like it starts with the women. Women are raising and grooming the children. So if the women are out of balance in the world, then of course the men are going to be out of balance with the world. So it does start with the women.
Yeah. I think what's funny is the difference between male podcasts and women podcasts is that a lot of men focus on the women who they think are the problem, and a lot of women podcasts focus on ourselves as our how can we better ourselves, how can we make the world a better place.
Accountability.
Accountability.
I do hear a lot of podcasts too where women are talking about men, but you're right, we do tend to be more self-critical and how can I fix myself to, you know what I mean?
I don't see a lot of podcasts.
Is it a word? Is it a word? Like men taking accountability for how they act or like how they are, the toxic masculinity traits that may exist.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, the end of this podcast is when people say do the work to love yourself first, it is not literally just hear someone say you need to love yourself. You need to practice every single day or at least once a week of listening to self-motivating podcasts.
Literally every day. Me every day. I'm like, I need to hear something positive every day.
And like not just like 3 minutes of it. Like you need a good amount of words going in, filling your soul, filling your cup up.
Yeah. I want to get our audience involved. So Fly Girls Manifesting, what do you feel about like why do women hate women? What do you think is your reason why women find it hard to get along with each other? Or do you feel like women do get along with each other well? What do you think? Why do women hate women? Or even how do you manifest better girlfriend or like relationships with your friends? We need to do a call in one day. Wouldn't that be so fun?
Yeah, we do. Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah,
I think it's just too early. Everybody's out shopping on a Sunday.
It is a Sunday.
I'm about to make me some pasta.
I'm about to go eat too, girl. Yes, I'm so excited.
Well, I think that was a good topic about loving yourself, girls.
I think that needs to be a topic then. Instead of why do girls hate girls, the topic should be how to love yourself. How to be your biggest motivator.
I think it does start out with those motivational podcasts, motivational things that you watch. You really shouldn't be like, I used to be obsessed with the Bad Girls Club.
Toxic femininity. Like you think you have to be bad and ferocious and in people's
better than the next.
Or for people to like praise you and be like, oh my God, you're such a badass. Like that just makes you. the good thing about women is we get to wield our softness, you know, but like we can also be fierce, but we get to wield our softness. We don't have to do that to each other. She said, I think women have an issue with self-care and intimate time. When we see a fly, women it echoes. Do you understand that last part? When we see a fly, woman, it echoes.
It should echo.
Oh, it should echo. Like we should be like proud when we see a girl who's like fly. I agree for
I agree.
sure.
And it's definitely issues within. And I think it does start with the parents. And if you didn't have those parents, you need to know that you can't go back and fix it. You need to start parenting yourself, just like you said.
Have to
It
start
starts now.
And I also love the component about self-care too, because this is so big. Women will let themselves go after they're like in a relationship with a man or after they start having children and things like that, and then they don't feel as confident. And so it causes them, you know, like self-care is so important. You'll feel more confident when you are putting in the effort taking care of yourself. And some women might not find the value in that. Like Jasmine, you taking the time to get your nails done or get your hair done. This is time invested into yourself. You feel better about yourself because you are having self-care time.
And
So
self-care isn't just physical.
right, but like you know what I mean, investing time in yourself.
Yeah.
All
Take care
types
of
of
your
self-care.
soul.
For me, when I look good though, I feel the most inspired to take action. So
Yeah. And self-care is not just like physical, like even though it helps, it does help. But you have to care for your soul. Like what's inside,
yeah.
it's going to be projected on the outside. And I know we've all seen an ugly, pretty girl because she had a lot of hatred.
Yes, that will turn a girl ugly so quick. If you
Yeah.
are just like staying with your like, ooh, it doesn't even matter how cute you look. Like that attitude is ferocious.
Yes.
She said, a badass female reflects what you really want to see in yourself. That's true. When we're giving compliments to other women, oh, your hair is so pretty. Oh, your teeth are so pretty. It's because we value those things within ourselves.
And they're going to give you a compliment too, hopefully.
I mean, even if they don't like
If they
accept
don't.
the compliment, a lot of women are like, "Oh, thanks, you too." But it's like, you know, like just accept the compliment.
Yeah.
Like, be that girl.
Help me look into vending machines. Oh, thank you.
Good.
For spreading the love. Thank you so much.
Yes. That's
So,
another
yeah,
thing. Mhm.
let me hide that one.
Oh,
It was
I was
pretty
gonna say, I was just gonna say, like, women being good in business too and with money too will help with females feeling, or women, see now I'm saying females, but women feeling more confident in themselves. Because a lot of people do compare their self-worth or their value with how much money they're making. So the
Ooh.
more women who make more money, know how to make money doing what they love and feeling empowered, that can make them feel more confident as well. What do you feel about like women having money?
I think that's a great concept, but I also don't want women without money who are
Mhm.
struggling right now to not think that they can't be confident, beautiful, and get out of
Mhm.
that struggle.
Mhm.
Um, I just want people to focus more on their soul. Don't focus on what's out, but that's the easy part. This is the
Mhm.
easy part. The
Mhm.
hard part is inward. Focus as much on the inside as much as the outside.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then you can be a better person to the world, to your relationships, and to your friends, and you will attract that. Also, get a
Mhm.
mentor, someone you look up to. Dedicate some time to talk to them and ask those questions about,
Mhm.
well, how do you stay confident? Not how do you make money or how do you become successful.
Mhm. But for
You
some people, that could affect, you know, like obviously you still want to feel valuable, but I think it is a very, very, very important thing for women to be financially literate and know about money and know how to make money, because that will also make you feel more confident. Like we won't feel stuck in relationships that we hate or feel, you know, just stuck in life, feeling incompetent in life because you don't know how to manage finances or generate money. That can make you feel stuck in
yeah,
situations.
leveling up is all about hitting all of those points and not just
Mhm.
hitting one point to begin with.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
love thy soul, work on the soul, then find someone that you look up to who has that confidence, because usually confidence breeds success. Like I can never see that separated. That someone who's very confident in themselves not being successful
Mhm,
in some type of work area.
mhm.
And
That's because you're gonna go after what you want
with
because you're
confidence.
confident in your ability to be successful at it.
Ooh,
Mhm.
she says, I agree. This is the concept I teach my clients.
Good, yeah. Mindset is everything, so Yeah.
Exactly. And people hate when I say that, like, "It's not that easy," and I'm like, "It's not easy." That's why it's
Mhm.
so beneficial when you, can manipulate that power.
Manipulate the energy.
Worth something will not be easy, and it is your mindset, and I know people hate hearing that, but it is.
We have a question for you. How do you ladies teach confidence? Because, like, for somebody who does not naturally have it, how can you show them how to be more confident? Because, some people do need to be taught. If this
That
doesn't
friend
come naturally.
that friend that I was talking about who asked me how was I confident, I had asked her this. I was like, "So, for example," I asked her, "When you take a test and you're going through the questions, do you say, 'Oh my god, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail. I don't know. I don't know.' Or do you say, 'It's okay. We're gonna be okay. It's gonna be great. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. This is gonna be great.'" She said, "No, I say in my head that, 'Oh my god, I'm gonna fail. I should have studied. Oh my god, I'm gonna fail.'" And I was like, and I say, "It's gonna be okay. This is gonna be great. We got this, Jazz. You got this, Jazz." Like, I'm constantly praising myself in my head when something is hard so
Yeah.
that I don't spiral, because once you spiral into that negative, ugh, everything
So you
follows.
would tell the girl the first thing she should do is have positive self-talk.
Yes, and I said that, and she was like, "No, I've never done that before. I didn't even know that was a thing when I was younger." And I was like,
Okay.
"Well, that's what I do, and that's what I still do, and it always works out." And when I spiral, when I'm like, "Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. I don't feel good, I don't feel good," it spirals to the negative. So I've noticed the difference, and I chose to be on the positive side of it. And
That's a
that's
really
why I told
good. Yeah, that's a good, like, tool or, like, thing to throw in the toolkit. Positive self-talk is so important, and so I guess that's one way you can teach women how to be more confident, teach women how to talk to themselves. If
oh,
you
yeah.
know how to talk to yourself, when somebody talks to you and it's out of pocket or sounds crazy or you feel like you're being disrespected, you're like, "Hold on,
Mhm.
I would never talk to myself this way, so this is unacceptable." If you're telling yourself, "I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm this,
Mhm.
I'm that," when you hear it from somebody else, it's only reaffirming the negative belief that you hold.
Exactly.
So, like, if you would never talk to yourself in that way, it will stop you from being in relationships with people who, you know what I mean? If you are your own best friend, you will never face a relationship that is not for your highest and greatest good and not be able to spot it because you
I
already know
also
what's best for
I
yourself.
also feel like when someone says that you're stupid to your face,
Mhm.
if you kind of believe that concept, you'll get defensive about it and want to fight them for it. With
Mm.
me, I'll either say one of two things. One, you're not going to talk to me like that. We can either stay on the topic at hand or we can end the conversation. Or two, that's your prerogative.
Right. Because getting upset means that you're trying to convince them that they're wrong. But it's like, who cares what
I
someone
know
else,
I'm not.
you know?
Mhm.
So
I'm
that's
tired
a
of
big
you
thing too with like people who are defensive and always want to fight and always want to be confrontational. You will learn to be less confrontational with anybody when
knowing.
you are not trying to fight your truth. You just hold your truth. You just hold your
Yeah.
prerogative. You just hold your standard. You just know what's true for you.
Oh
You can't
god.
convince
And
other
you do it beautifully too. Like when someone disagrees with you,
people.
you're like, "Well, I believe this, but we don't have to believe the same thing."
Yeah,
Like, and it's
because we don't.
I'm like, "Y'all are
Aw.
so beautiful and elegant."
Yeah, I love that. You gotta just but that's the softness about femininity, knowing how to just be like, just back off, like, "Okay, you got it, and I got it, we
Mhm.
got it." Do you want me to read this one? Do you
Yeah.
lovely ladies believe in the factor and pretty privilege? Ooh, what do you think? I think pretty privilege is a thing. I do. I
It
know
is.
for certain in society that women who are good looking get treated better than women who are not, you know?
It is.
It's not right, but it is the way it is. Like
Mhm.
men are gonna treat a woman who looks good better. Even women, we do this to each other. You're gonna treat a woman with more respect and even oh, this is so bad, Jasmine. When I go somewhere, like if you're not like dressed nicely or like putting your best foot forward, like looking like you are somebody, you will get treated like you are nothing. Like people,
Mhm.
and it's really crazy the difference. So yes, I do believe pretty privilege is a thing.
Now, I have seen, so overweight is a standard in America that people perceive it as not beautiful, right? That is
Mhm.
the standard right now. I have seen some ladies who are overweight, doesn't fit the beauty standard, be so confident
And
and
beautiful.
stand in their truth, and
Mhm.
they command the whole room. And I look at them like, wow,
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
Like, it does come from the confidence of knowing your worth and putting
Yeah.
that foot down, where I think Pretty Privilege didn't she didn't need help from that.
But she was pretty in her own way. See, when you
Beauty
have
was
confidence,
beautiful to me because of that. I was
right?
just, oh my God, this is just fucking
Confidence is
beautiful.
beautiful. So
It
even if you
really,
don't think that you're pretty in your, or no, you can in your mind think you're pretty, even if you're not the standard pretty, and that makes people attracted to you.
oh yeah.
So it's like there is a pretty privilege, like you aesthetically look pretty, and then there's a pretty privilege you can turn on, which is your confidence. And if
Mhm.
you are confident in who you are, that's another layer of pretty privilege, I feel like.
Yes. Like the women who don't fit the beauty standard, again with overweight women, when they dress to kill, girl.
Mhm. With the
And then they're
curves.
like, oh girl, I look good. I'm like, you are gorgeous. Because it's that
Mhm.
confidence. It's just like,
Yes.
wow, I could wish I could be like you. Even
Mhm.
though I feel like I'm confident, I just
Mhm.
feel like, damn, she's commanding the room.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, it really does come back to confidence. I feel like that's so beautiful though. Teach, if women just learn how to be confident within themselves, like I can just see so many things just like up leveling.
Opening
We'll
doors.
stop going to war with men over our values and our worth. When you don't have to speak it, you don't have to yell it, you just know what it is, and you just hold firm on your value and your standard, and when someone doesn't need it, you say, okay, thank you for your time.
Also, I believe there's power in makeup. You put some red lips on a woman and you send her out into a male dominated area, I think she's going to turn heads, just because she's a female. And I think you should use your female power.
Yes,
You know,
use your femininity, use your pretty powers.
exactly.
Do you want to read this one, or do you want me to read it?
I look up to women who smile a lot and have really great skin and hair. I always find a positive in the next woman. Can I say something about this real quick?
Definitely, yeah.
A lot of women have come out saying that they hate when a man tells them to smile. Like, oh, you should
Mm,
smile. You look so much better when you smile. I don't find offense to that, because just like you said, a woman is beautiful when she smiles. It's so welcoming. It's so bright. She's commanding. Everybody wants to talk to her because she's like, look how happy she is.
mhm. Yeah, I
I
mean, I get that. That's like, okay. So I think the reason why that takes some women off is because historically speaking, women are meant to, like be for male gaze and male pleasure. And so it's more desirable for me to see you happy than it is for me to see you upset, right? So I get how a woman might not want to hear, oh, smile. Like my face is not for you. I love when women smile because they're genuinely happy, and that's just how they feel. And there's some women who like their model mom face is the face, and that's just how they are. They might still look just as beautiful. So I'm just like, be authentically how you feel. Like if you're the girl that's smiling in every direction, and like be her. If you're the girl who's just smiling with the eyes in every direction, like just be her.
But I think there's also a case like when a woman isn't smiling, I think not just like smiling, but you can see in their face that it's like a wall is up.
Mhm.
And men say, oh, you should smile. I think it's just they're not coming from a bad place. At least in my experience, I can't really, those guys who like keep pestering women and they
Mhm.
start out with that. I think there's a difference between that. He had an ulterior motive. But
Mhm.
I'm just talking about like I do feel a woman is at her best when,
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
happy, I guess, because I
But
see a
you
smile.
have to admit too, for women, it's a safety thing. We can't just walk around smiling at everybody if you don't feel safe, because some men will take that as, oh, she's making a pass at me. Let me go in for the kill. You know what I
This
mean?
is true.
There is a reason why women are like, it's just the time of day, like that we're in right now.
Mhm.
When you're
Yeah.
sitting next to your man or your partner and you feel safe, of course it's easy to smile, and you know what I mean? But when you're by yourself walking through a construction site and there's a bunch of men in hard hats looking at you like you're a piece of meat, I understand why you're like, don't effing talk to me.
Just
Don't
head
talk to me. Like, you're not gonna take me into the court. You know what I mean?
down. Yeah.
So I get it. There's like a time and place when we turn on our femininity. The purpose and point, I guess, is knowing how to build your femininity. And yeah, we do value when women have great skin and they take care of their hair and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
Jazz is saying, we have to find a way to have value outside of just our looks too, and value our internal, like value all of it, right?
The science behind smiling is more metaphysical. When you smile at people, the usual smile back. You like when you put out positivity into the world, you will get it back. This goes back to what Nija was saying, is that when you compliment a woman, whether you get a compliment back or not, you eventually will, because you're putting positivity out there, and it's making people want to be just as positive as you.
Very true. Yeah, it's contagious. She said exactly. I find that I can't smile too much. I feel that too. You
Girl,
know,
I'm smiling all the damn time. If I'm
it
not
should not be
smiling,
safe.
it's wrong.
Okay, Jasmine, answer this question. Cause be real. If you're in Tennessee, up in the mountains by yourself in that cute little outfit that you're wearing right now, and you were not with anybody that you know, and they're men, and they're looking at you, like, and you're by yourself, are you confident still enough to smile at them, or are you gonna give them like a subtle smile? Like
Girl,
I'm
when
about
I
my
know,
business.
whether it be women or men that are, and I'm by myself and I know I have to walk through a crowd, I'm like, okay, girl, let's do it. My chin is up, my back is straight, and I'm strutting like a model.
But okay, we're talking about the times where you don't feel safe to do it though. Like where it doesn't
That's usually
feel
at
safe.
nighttime when there's a bunch of guys at a gas station.
Yes, that time. Are you smiling then? That's
I
what we're
mean, I'm at
talking
night
about.
by myself.
That's what we're talking about. Sometimes you have to decide when you're going to be out there and put yourself out there, and when you're going to protect yourself.
Oh, hell no.
You see, there's a time.
Girl, I be putting my hood on, like,
Yes, like don't look at
I got
me.
my knife ready, my pepper spray ready.
Yes,
And
where's
I
my pepper
don't
spray?
understand how a man thinks that is appropriate to approach a girl at nighttime at the gas pump.
It can be very scary and intimidating. Like they wonder, like don't be like women are mean and whatever. Like we are terrified. I'm not trying to get picked up.
I was mainly always thinking, like, because I don't go out at nighttime anymore. So it's just like when you're walking down the street and it's a sunny day, and a guy says, "No, sweetheart,
Yeah,
go ahead and
that's different.
smile. Like, it's such a beautiful day." I think it's them noticing that something may be wrong. But men are different. They're wired different. A woman would say, "What's wrong?" A guy would say, "Oh, you should smile. It's a beautiful day." Their brain just doesn't compute the
Yeah,
emotional side with it and stuff.
definitely, for sure. And also as women, we're like processing everything in our mind. So it's not as simplistic for men. They might be
Yeah.
like, why are you making that
They-
face? I'm thinking about my kid, I'm thinking about my man, I'm thinking about blah, 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 blah.
They want a simplistic answer. They want to fix the problem,
Right.
the face value of the problem, and the woman is just like, I'm not going to ask her what's wrong because that's going to be a whole conversation. I don't have to have a whole conversation.
Right. Like, don't even. They said, are you ladies going to go live like this often? This is such a great conversation. I am enjoying this. We are definitely going to do this more.
We have a podcast. So Nija is streaming on her channel right now, but this is actually tied to our podcast channel. Let's Talk It Up. You can find it on YouTube, and you can subscribe there, and that's where we do pre-recorded videos of the podcast and also the live chat right like this. So I hope you'll subscribe.
Yes, I will leave the link after we hop off here. I can find the link and I'll pin it in our comments. So
yeah, and then I'll also just write something here.
Yes. And usually we're with our girlfriend Tiffany as well, but she's in California.
She just woke up, actually.
Call her in our vlog. So we're like still trying to get together our time differences and stuff like that. But usually it's 3 of us. But if there's ever not 3 of us, like, guys, still support the podcast.
So I just wrote it. I misspelled it, but YouTube podcast, Let's Talk It Up. So it would be great to have you up there. But I think we're going to come to an end with this because this was a really good one. I love the conversations now.
Do we come to a solution? Why do girls hate girls? Women don't hate women. Just have confidence.
Yeah. Start with loving yourself. Have confidence. Teach yourself. Parent yourself. And then find someone in your life that you look up to who's very confident and talk to them. Self-talk as well. What did we call it? Is it called
positive self-talk? And never say anything negative about other women, because that's really just how you feel about yourself. So positive self-talk, parent yourself well, talk yourself up, be your own hype person. And women, we will stop having problems with other women. And we especially need to stop letting ourselves go to war with each other over men, because that ish is played out and silly anyway. So let's not do that either.
If we love ourselves and then like push that onto other people, we could take over the world.
Love it.
So thanks so much for coming through, you guys. I love all the conversations happening right now in the box with us. So come to the podcast channel. Let's Talk It Up, and we'll see you guys there. Thank you.